You fell prey to one of the classic blunders. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Defines the Classic Blunders, which, really, there's only one classic blunder in terms of things that are relevant to me, guys, and that is not mounting the algorithm. If you want to support this channel for free, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment. Guys, mount the algorithm. It's free. And if you want to support the channel for not free, you could join my Patreon, guys. There's a link in the video description. There's actually a bot that will tell you if you got knocked back. It'll ping you on Discord if you got knocked back in either arena. It's a handy tool to have. So, folks, huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all of your support. Truly appreciate everything about you. Now, here's the criteria that we're using, guys. We're talking about the top 20 characters that are not Galactic Legends. So the top 20, obviously, Galactic Legends are going to be the top, right? They're awesome. There's not really much debate. So what are the things that make these characters so strong compared to the rest of them? There's over 200, is it 250 characters total in this game? What makes these guys better than the rest? So whether they can kill things on their own, they're personally powerful, that's great. If they have a good leadership, if their mechanics really help them be able to propel themselves to victory, or propel others to victory for that matter. Their extreme versatility in terms of how many squads they can fit in, or how many situations they're going to be good in, and finally, long-term use, characters that are good from the very start of the game, that you're going to have from the first month of playing all the way until the end game. How relevant and how much use are you going to be getting from them over the course of, 7, 8, 9 years of playing this ridiculously long-lived phone game? It's madness, folks. So let's talk about all that stuff in the game. Whoa, madness. We're in the game, and you guys just saw my whole list. Oops. This is like my third take, because I can't do things well here, folks. So first off, we've got Anakin, and he's that guy who killed all those all those Tuskens. It is pure madness, guys. Are there better characters than him? I mean, obviously, there's 19 characters. Really, I mean, there's 27 characters that are better than him because of GLs. But truthfully speaking, yeah, there are characters that are going to have a bigger impact in different places. The thing is, he's the guy who has been good since day one. You're going to unlock Grandmaster Yoda with him. You're going to put him on your first Padme team and think he's overpowered because he can do his AoE and dispel buffs, even though eventually he stops doing that because he joins the Jedi Master Kenobi team, and his AoE only does that with Padme. And then, once he's done hanging out with Jedi Master Kenobi, he'll go chill in a retirement home with Qui-Gon Jinn, and now Bellerin Kellerin Beck, whatever that guy's name is maybe going to breathe new life into that squad. Anyways, not to mention his ship is also very strong. Is he the very, very best candidate for 20? I guess we'll see, folks. I mean, I am the sole arbiter of truth, and I think he's number 20, so I guess that probably just seals it, right? Next, we have Afra, and, okay, so she kills Galactic Legends. That's pretty nice. The thing is, she's kind of the opposite of Anakin in the sense that you're not going to get her day one. It's going to take years before you feel like you can responsibly farm her, and that kind of hurts. That kind of stings, honestly. She's really strong in a lot of different game modes across the board. She is, but she's not required for anything, and therefore, even though she does a lot of really cool stuff, her mechanics increase cooldowns on an entire squad, even if they have foresight. That's amazing. Summon a commando droid and ramp damage like crazy. Also really strong. Yeah, she has a good datacron now, but even when the datacron goes away, she'll be extremely strong and relevant in every game mode across the board. So very strong. You just don't get her very soon, and therefore she kind of gets a ding for that, honestly, because not a ton of people even have her unlocked at this point. So next up, we have Admiral Raddus. And honestly, guys, it took me a long time to come up with this list. I made a list of 50 and worked my way down. And here's the thing about Adrad. I'm surprised that he made it this far as well. He's a capital ship pilot, which is awesome. We're not doing pure capital pilots, though it'll kind of feel like that for a while on this list, guys. Here's the thing about Admiral Raddus that's awesome, though, is the 4 factions that kind of stay relevant throughout the game, because that's what the whole game revolves around, are Rebels versus Imperials and Sith versus Jedi. He has one of those matchups on lockdown, guys. Imperials hate fighting Adrad because of the days that he puts on them, and also because of his ability to insta-kill him or permanent kill him if you get close enough. He kills Inquisition, even if you do it right. He's just a strong character with a strong squad. And yes, it's not that glamorous of a squad, and it feels a little bit derpy sometimes to go in and you're just like, I'm only taking damage. But they do a good job of taking advantage of all the exposed damage that they cause to people, the exposed debuffs that they cause to people. It's just a very strong squad that's probably going to stay relevant for a very long time. Not to mention, you have to get him Relic 9 to get his capital ship, so you're going to be able to use his squad for a really long time just because they forced you to Relic him to the point where he is still relevant. Now, next we have Piett. Similar thing, guys. He's strong. They made you relic him up to Relic 8. He's a capital ship pilot for one of the best capital ships. But then he's also, within the context of the Empire faction, very, very relevant. He goes with Lord Vader, for instance, really well, and makes the most tanky of all the Galactic Legends, which is, I would argue, Lord Vader, not Jabba. He makes him into a tank, which is so crazy, situationally really strong. He also obviously super boosts the Imperial Troopers faction. He's really strong because he calls people to assist with this, with his basic, and with his inevitable failure debuff that also turns people into tanks, like we were talking about. He also, one of my favorite things about him is he gets 5% turn meter whenever an Empire ally takes damage, so it makes him slowly gain enough turn meter that he can, if someone gets into like a really nice turn meter loop, he's able to break that up a lot of times. Putting him with Lord Vader on defense in 5v5, yes, you're going to miss your trooper squad, but man, that Lord Vader team starts to really destroy people. It really starts to mount, if you know what I'm saying, guys. Now, Thrawn, another capital ship pilot. Should he be all the way up as 16? I'm not sure. He's been around forever, though, guys. And the thing about him is he is extremely versatile. Yes, he's Imperial. He does a lot of cool stuff. His ship is a ship that counters the best current fleet out there, and I mean he's part of the top 4 factions. I know that Scoundrels and Galactic Republic, there's a lot of important factions, guys, that I didn't mention earlier, but yeah, Empire is just going to keep getting new releases as long as this game exists. And his fracture mechanic, when it first came out, was so ball-busting strong. It was so good. It's still really good. And he goes on a ton of different teams, facilitating their consistent wins. Has he lost a step? Maybe a little bit. But, I mean, he remains pretty relevant, in my opinion, guys. Next up, we have Commander Luke Skywalker, and his squad keeps getting stronger, or maybe not stronger, but they keep updating his squad, and I don't know, maybe it's on his death gasp. I'm not really sure, guys. He was an exciting character when he first came out, and he's kind of been the litmus test for a lot of teams. It's like when a new team comes out, you say, hey, can Commander Luke, can CLS beat this team? If he can, then it's like, well, maybe it's not the best team. I mean, like, if it can't beat one of the new crazy awesome teams, then it becomes a really strong team for the most part. So yeah, the thing about CLS, though, guys, is not only is he the leader of a really strong squad that has resisted the decay of strength that we all witness. It's been able to do well in the face of power creep, I should say. Even as that squad is slowly crumbling, just slowly losing its relevance, it also They just got a new tag. Well, it's not new exactly, but the UFU tag is going to keep him relevant for a long time. He does a lot of really cool stuff, gains a lot of turn meter for himself, and as the leader gains even more. It's kind of just inspiring for how long he's stayed relevant for years and years in this game. Next, we have stupid C-3PO that I don't like at all, but he does a decent job of buffing a ton of different squads, and he goes with Ewoks, he goes with droids, Galactic Republic, Rebels, Resistance. He's great in all the squads. It's like, oh, if CLS somehow, if that team kind of explodes and he's no longer relevant, then at least on that squad, then he remains relevant. He has a ton of squads that he can go on that are all really good. So the only thing that would make him cooler is, number one, if they made him stop talking, and number two, if he got a red arm for some reason. Now, we've got Padme here at number 13, and she's one of those other characters that's like, man, she stayed relevant for a long time. So she used to have her own team. Once Jedi Master Kenobi came out, he kind of just took her whole team over, which kind of sucked. Well, not that fun. The thing is, her unique actually makes her very relevant and good on the Jedi Master Kenobi team. But even beyond that, with Galactic Republic allies, the way her leadership reads and her unique reads, they can't gain or lose bonus turn meters, so it works really well with Moff Gideon and his special abilities, being able to grant stacks of protection up, which turns into courage, which turns into your opponents being completely destroyed in both 3v3 and 5v5. Really good team, really good character, and she just works on a ton of different teams, guys. It's kind of sad, like, for a while we weren't using her that much, and I don't know, I realized the other day, I use her all the time. She's still so relevant, still so strong, guys. Really, really cool that she's stayed as relevant and strong as she has. Now, Grievous, maybe he's lost a little bit of a step. He used to be my number one go-to counter to Jedi Master Luke and for Sith Eternal Emperor. He does a lot of cool damage to them. He still does in 5s, 3v3, not so much. He's pretty bad in 3s. He's also a capital ship pilot. Look at that, guys. I love his mechanic that just kind of ignores his offense stat. And then the thing is, he boosts himself so well with other droids, and as his teammates die, he gets stronger, takes more turns. I've always loved the mechanic that when someone dies on his team, he resets his cooldowns. And so as his team dies, he just keeps blendering his opposition. It's just a lot of fun, guys. Should he be number 12? It might be my bias showing, to be honest, guys. He is really, very strong, and he's another character that you unlock early on in the game and stays really relevant all the way to the end game, where he gets sad in 3v3, but I mean, he still destroys things in Conquest, guys. Gosh, he's so good in Conquest. He's still good in a lot of different game modes. Really worthwhile character, that Mr. Grievous. Now, Starkiller is a weird one because he's basically only good in GAC and Territory Wars. Now, the thing is, he stays versatile over the course of the game because as they add more UFUs, as they add more light side and dark side UFUs, and then Jedi and Sith, he's going to be able to upgrade and swap out his components. He does a lot of damage himself. He calls a Star Destroyer down from the sky, which is coolness factor dialed up to at least 12 or something arbitrary. But he throws an entire tire when he does things, guys. He's just a really cool character, and he is very strong. GAC, he's one of those characters that changes an entire roster once you unlock him. He makes your roster relevant in GAC in ways that you had never really, in ways hitherto undreamt of. All right. Number 10 is, oh yeah, number 10, not number 11, is Traya. She has 3 lightsabers and only one hand. I mean, that's a badass factor of probably around 12 as well. Here's the thing, guys, with her GAC Omicron, she is a really awesome character, but she's so relevant. You can unlock her early on, and she's got so much to offer for her team, even without the GAC Omicron. She does a lot of stuff, and I mean, the fact that she keeps she goes well with every Sith squad because she dispels all their debuffs over time. Her isolate ability is the only thing in the game like it, and it does a lot of really annoying, frustrating, awesome things, and it makes her, like, the isolate, she can target who she wants on her team to decrease cooldowns. It's just, she is really powerful in her own right, on her own as a leader, or without being a leader, as just someone who supports her Sith squad. Very, very strong character. Reva, this probably shouldn't come as much surprise, folks. Reva is very strong, obviously, at least in the context of her Inquisition team. The thing is, she's also Empire. She goes really well with, like, Lord Vader as a tank, because he buffs Ufus and he buffs Empire, so he gets both of those. She's a tank, and even though her stats are weird, like, she gets different upgrade stats than other tanks do. I think there was a blunder on CG's part that they just haven't decided to rectify yet, but she also does a lot of damage. She's not just a really thick tank that just has 3 lives and all. She also hits really hard. She actively helps her team with an AoE that causes, among other things, AoE undispellable healing immunity for multiple turns. Crazy, guys. She is so crazy strong, and as an unaligned force user and an Imperial and Inquisitor and a tank, I mean, she just got a ton of different really important tags that are going to be relevant for a long time. Even if Inquisitors stop being that relevant, she will continue to be relevant. Now, Malgus, I mean, what can you say about Malgus other than he's annoying? He's probably the most tilting character I've had to face before. He is crazy strong. He's got like, he one-shots characters really nicely, unless they're scout trooper. Don't ask about that. He's a ship pilot for an important ship. He's tough to unlock, of course, but man, once you do, he's the best tank out there, almost, guys. I don't know if there's a better tank. Maybe there are tanks that are on a similar level to him, but man, he is just insanely resilient, and he's strong, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like, get him to Relic 9 if you can. He's really good. Malak is potentially the same person as Malgus. I don't know. They look kind of similar, actually, except Malak has abnormally big hands and some really strange placements on his multiple loincloths, which his loincloth game is unparalleled in this game, honestly, guys. Really strong character. Has to be Relic 9 in order to unlock Leviathan, and the fact that when people hit him, they fear themselves is really good in PvE, actually. Your opponent, he really helps a lot, like, in Proving Grounds. He's like the guy I lean on. He's just really good. He can solo multiple teams in 3v3, at least early on. He's so versatile, guys. Such a strong tank. And okay, General Skywalker at number 6 here, folks. Here's the thing about him. He leads a really strong squad. I think that eventually we're going to be moving away from that squad, unless they boost 501st, guys. I think 501st is slowly going the way of the dodo, maybe of the buffalo. Like, buffalo, how relevant are buffalo? Not very, I would say. They taste delicious if you ever had a buffalo burger, though it's always like, well, is this actually just beef? I don't know. The thing is, guys, he is really strong on as a leader, because he makes it so his team ignores revives or denies revives, which is really nice on its own, but he's also so he's versatile like that, so he can take it whatever squad he wants, and the whole squad just ignores revives, which is nice. He's also, as a Jedi, able to go with all of the different awesome Jedi characters, including Jedi Master Kenobi. I mean, a lot of people don't do it in GAC, but man, it is a really strong thing. Kelleran Beck just came out. I think I've seen him on a couple teams with General Skywalker, really boosting him there. And then just his ability to slowly chip away at their max health is really nice as well, guys. I mean, he's the whole package. He's tough to unlock, and once you finally do, you have to really put some good investment into his relics. His team does kill a couple Galactic Legends, does some cool stuff. I don't think it's just less and less relevant, unfortunately, guys. He as a character, however, remains very relevant. All right, top 5 here, folks. If I can actually keep clicking on that. Okay, so we have Jedi Knight Luke here, guys. People, when he was released, people thought the game was about to end because of something a developer said, that he was like the last character that they were going to release in the game or something, and that was false, obviously, because he's been around for a long time. He's really tough to unlock early game, but man, he's very tanky, actually. He's really tough to kill, and his abilities are strangely, like, they just his AoE stun is crazy strong, and the fact that he is able to go with so many really strong Jedi teams. I mean, he's one of those characters that's like, well, if the Jedi faction is one of the central factions out there, he's going to be relevant for a really long time. And the fact that he does more damage with his basic against tanks, which is incidentally the type of character you need to do the most damage against. The fact that he can hand out his buff really nicely and do it and be able to not only stun everyone, but put vulnerable on them and reduce their max health and protection is really nice. His leadership is surprisingly still so relevant, even though I keep him a little bit fast. And man, he just keeps ticking, guys. He's a very strong character, and obviously top 5. I don't know. I'd be interested to see who would debate that, honestly, guys. Oh shoot, you guys saw something you shouldn't have. Now, Jedi Cal is number 4, and just his crazy amount of versatility, guys, within the Jedi faction. The fact that he is able to unlock a new planet in Rise of the Empire, territory battles, the fact that he's able to counter so many things. He makes Jedi Master Luke, he's looking like Jedi Master Luke's lifter unit, almost, guys, though you don't have to use him with it, but man, it makes so many different counters just trivially easy. He is so strong right now, guys. And people who were like, no, I can't farm him because his requirements aren't accelerated. I feel bad for people a little bit, because I unlocked him. I have him ready to unlock on all of my accounts, even my littlest account, because it's not that tough to unlock him, honestly, guys. He is crazy versatile and strong, and he's gonna help your guild unlock all the Kyrotech they'll ever need. Now, next up, final 3, guys. Maul. He goes on so many teams. He's good with Mandalorians. He's good with the Ufu team with Seer and Malicos. He's good with Lord Vader. I don't know what the heck to do with him. If I had to duplicate one character right now on my roster, if they gave me the option, I might just choose Maul. He is so in demand right now. I love the fact that when you boost his relics, you give him health and offense, and he uses both of them to do more damage. He just works so well with the factions that he's in as a Mandalorian and an Ufu, but then he goes really nicely with Lord Vader as well. Just one of the very best, guys. Commander Ahsoka Tano is the second best character in the game beyond the Galactic Legends, folks. And I mean, there's a reason I call her, I call Jedi Master Kenobi her lifter unit. She does, yes, he does really well with her. She also, before you unlock Jedi Master Kenobi, try her with Rey, try her with Padme, try her with Dash. She has a ton of tissue. Try her with CLS. She is crazy strong. The fact that she boosts her every team that she's on, well, as within reason, with 50% extra offense and critical damage and 50% health and defense is a crazy number, guys. It is just bonkers how much she boosts her team. Not to mention, she instantly defeats characters. She has the Scoundrel tag. She is just one of the best characters out there, folks. And man, if you can, it should be the #1 priority for new accounts to be unlocking her, in my opinion. Now, the #1 character, folks, you saw it just a minute ago. It's Jedi Revan. Somehow, he's remained the most relevant, the most awesome character in the game. Still, guys, even over the course of years of characters trying to replace him, he just does things that no one can do. He has, now there's a ton of people with, not ton of characters with Savior. He was the first one who did Savior. That's what we still call it, is even if other abilities do the same thing, they're not necessarily called Savior. We call it Savior because of Jedi Revan, keeping people alive. He was one of the first with a strong unique as something where, oh, he's not the leader of the Jedi team. He still boosts the Jedi team anyways with some of his stats. He's able to equalize health and be able to like heal and cleanse his entire team, swap turn meter, which is so crazy, and then to be able to, this is the best part, guys, the most bonkers insane part is when he can choose his own target and he can't be stunned or ability blocked, so he can always do this. He can mark whoever he wants as long as they're not stealthed, and then the rest of his team, even if they're dark side, even if they're whatever they are, even if they're Canadian, they can target his character that he marked, and they keep that mark for 2 turns, which is something that still hasn't happened in this game at all. Marked, that's the first time instance of this. This is the only time you get that marked ability, at least in squads. It is crazy, really strong. Forces characters who don't want to be taunting to be taunting, and the fact that he does a ton of other stuff too, guys. He boosts his own turn meter. He gives his squad a bunch of turn meter for different things. I mean, he gives them a ton of boosts. Just his stats are a little bit less relevant, I guess, but man, he's still, in my opinion, he's the best character in the game, and other than Galactic Legends. I mean, there's a reason that when they came out with Rey, when they first released Rey, they made her not a Jedi, specifically because they thought that if they put the Jedi tag on Rey, that Jedi Revan would just make her so overpowered that they couldn't even balance the game anymore. So anyways, folks, what's your top 20? I would love to hear what your thoughts are. What did I get wrong? Let me know, please, for real. I would love to know. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.